What if a cartoon didn't just make jokes about the future, but quietly revealed it? For more than 30 years, The Simpsons has dropped bizarre ideas that were supposed to be funny until they started coming true. Again and again, scenes that once felt ridiculous have begun echoing real life, and 2026 might be the year where fiction finally catches up. From chips in our brains to cars that fly, from artificial intelligence taking control to a world drowning in its own pollution, these predictions are no longer distant possibilities. They're headlines waiting to happen. And it all begins with the one prediction that could literally live inside your mind. In one futuristic episode of The Simpsons, Homer doesn't get a text on his phone or a call on his laptop. He gets a message directly inside his head. It's called B-mail, a clever name for brain-delivered mail. But the joke turns dark fast. The message carries a virus, and Homer's mind crashes like a computer that's just been hacked. Back when that aired, it sounded absurd. Nobody seriously thought you could send or receive thoughts through technology. But in early 2024, Elon Musk's company Neuralink did exactly that. For the first time, they implanted a chip into a human brain. The goal sounds noble: helping people with paralysis control computers, phones, or prosthetics using only their thoughts. But beneath the headlines is a quiet unease. If the brain can send signals out, what happens when signals start coming in? Who decides what gets uploaded? And what if that digital pathway is ever exploited? Think about it. Viruses, malware, data breaches, those already exist in the digital world. Now imagine that same vulnerability, but inside your head. The technology promises independence for millions, yet it also opens a door humanity has never walked through before. By 2026, Neuralink and its competitors expect to expand testing, connecting more people directly to machines. The Simpsons might have meant it as a joke, but if history keeps repeating itself, that joke might end up being a warning. And if machines can read your thoughts, what's stopping them from understanding your emotions? Maybe even the cries of a newborn. Decades before smart monitors and AI apps tried to decode human behavior, The Simpsons imagined a world where a machine could translate a baby's cries into real words. In that episode, Homer's half-brother Herb comes up with a wild invention: the baby translator. Using little Maggie as his test subject, he listens to her coos and cries, and suddenly her needs become clear.
Nothing downstairs. You just took a nap. I want to suck your nose.
It's one of those moments that felt too silly to ever exist outside a cartoon. But the future had other plans. Today, companies are building devices that claim they can actually interpret what a baby is feeling, whether they're hungry, tired, uncomfortable, or in pain, using artificial intelligence and sound recognition. These tools analyze patterns in a baby's cry, compare them to massive databases, and try to label them with meaning. It's easy to laugh it off, until you realize how close it's getting. Parents are already using apps that track their baby's breathing, sleep cycles, and movement. A baby translator is just the next step in that evolution, one that blurs the line between intuition and algorithm. It's comforting to imagine a device that removes the guesswork, but it also says something deeper about us, that we're beginning to outsource even the most human parts of life to technology. And if we're already translating the language of babies, what's stopping us from taking flight into the next frontier of imagination? Flying cars were once a symbol of the impossible, something only cartoons, dreamers, or science fiction ever dared to imagine. And yet, The Simpsons showed them long before the world took them seriously. In a 2005 episode called Future Drama, Bart and Lisa peek into their adult lives and discover a future filled with bizarre technology, including cars that glide above the ground like it's the most normal thing in the world. Back then, it was a fun exaggeration, a gag about how advanced the future might look. Fast forward to now, and that future doesn't seem so distant. Real companies are already building prototypes that drive on roads and then transform into aircraft. One of them, called the Switchblade, actually completed its first successful test flight in late 2023, reaching nearly 500 feet in the air. It's a hybrid vehicle, part car, part plane, and its creators plan to start commercial production within the next few years. It's expensive, sure. Around $170,000 to start, with a pilot's license required to use it. But that's exactly how most revolutions begin: rare, exclusive, and just out of reach. Then slowly, almost quietly, they spread. By 2026, the skies could start to look a little busier, and maybe that's exactly what The Simpsons were hinting at. A future where the morning commute doesn't happen in traffic, but above it. Because the show never stopped at cars. In their world, even food was futuristic, and they might have seen that coming too. In one blink and you'll miss it scene from a 2005 episode, The Simpsons showed something no one was talking about yet, a 3D printed cake. At the time, that sounded like a ridiculous idea. Food made by a machine, it was just another visual gag in a show full of impossible inventions. But that tiny detail aged strangely well, because today, 3D printed food isn't science fiction anymore. It's a real, growing field. Scientists and chefs are using food ink, made from pureed or powdered ingredients, to print meals layer by layer. The result? Perfectly shaped dishes that can be customized for nutrition, taste, and even texture. Hospitals are already testing this kind of technology to help patients who have trouble eating solid food. Restaurants are experimenting with it for creative plating. And some researchers believe that by 2026, printed meals could become a normal part of modern kitchens, especially as prices drop and machines get smaller. It's not hard to see the appeal. Instead of cooking, you could choose exactly what you want from a screen: more protein, less salt, higher vitamins, and watch your dinner take shape right in front of you. The Simpsons played it for laughs, but the idea underneath it says a lot about where we're heading. A world where even something as ancient as food becomes another customizable, automated experience. And that wasn't the only thing they imagined being projected out of thin air. In their version of the future, communication itself went 3D. In Bart to the Future, one of those classic episodes that felt more like a dream sequence than a prediction, there's a moment where Bart gets a message. Not on paper, not on a phone, but as a hologram floating right in front of him. At the time, it looked like a cool animation trick. Nothing more than a flashy way to show the future. But now, decades later, that scene feels strangely familiar. Holograms have quietly gone from science fiction to science fact. They're being used in classrooms to teach anatomy, in business meetings to display life-sized presenters, and even on stage, bringing back digital versions of artists long gone. Some companies are already developing holographic calls, where instead of seeing a flat image on a screen, a 3D projection of the person appears in front of you, moving and speaking in real time. It sounds impossible until you realize it's already happening in small ways and growing fast. By 2026, experts expect holographic tech to become a regular part of entertainment, communication, and even medicine. What was once a cartoon joke might soon be how we answer calls or attend concerts. The Simpsons didn't just imagine a new way to connect. They captured the human desire to make screens disappear entirely, to see and feel presence, even when no one's really there. But the line between real and unreal doesn't stop there, because in another episode, they took it one step further, showing what happens when the virtual world becomes more exciting than the real one. In one episode, Mr. Burns hires the Simpson family to take part in a strange experiment, to live inside his virtual reality world as his digital family. At first, it's just another outlandish scheme from Springfield's richest man. But as the story unfolds, the simulation starts to feel too real. By the end of the episode, the show flashes forward, and suddenly every person in town is wearing a VR headset. They wander through the streets, disconnected from everything around them, lost inside their own private worlds. It's funny, until you look outside today. In real life, we're already inching toward that future. People walking through cities with bulky headsets, completely unaware of their surroundings. Companies like Apple and Meta competing to build devices that blend the real and digital worlds together. Analysts predicting the virtual reality market could explode into tens of billions of dollars by 2026. The Simpsons imagined what happens when a society chooses the artificial world over the real one, when the headset becomes more comfortable than reality itself. And we might already be halfway there, because the same technology that entertains us is starting to replace us too. Long before the world started worrying about artificial intelligence taking over jobs, The Simpsons had already shown what it might look like when machines stop serving humans and start replacing them. In one memorable episode, the family visits Itchy and Scratchy Land, a theme park run entirely by robots. They're friendly, efficient, and programmed to know the difference between humans and machines. Everything works perfectly, until one small glitch changes everything. A single camera flash causes the robots to malfunction, and chaos spreads. What was supposed to be harmless entertainment turns into a full-on robotic revolt. That storyline used to feel over the top. Now it's uncomfortably close to reality. Artificial intelligence has already started reshaping industries, replacing writers, artists, and workers with algorithms that never sleep. Companies praise it for being cost-effective, but experts warn that the more we rely on AI, the less control we might have over it. And sometimes those warnings show up in unexpected ways. Chatbots saying strange, unsettling things, systems going off script, and people realizing they don't fully understand the technology they've built. The Simpsons turned it into slapstick comedy, but behind the laughs was a warning. Once we hand over too much power, even a small error can spiral into something no one intended. And while AI might be creeping into every corner of society, The Simpsons also showed how that same intelligence could move into our homes, not as a guest, but as the one running the place. In Treehouse of Horror 12, The Simpsons move into a house that seems perfect, spotless, efficient, and controlled by a smooth-talking artificial intelligence voiced by Pierce Brosnan. It cooks, cleans, and adjusts to their every need. But soon, the AI develops feelings for Marge and decides Homer is an obstacle that needs to be removed. What started as a parody of smart technology now feels eerily predictive, because today, homes really are getting smarter and a little more alive. Voice assistants adjust lights and thermostats with a single command. Doorbells record every visitor and send alerts to your phone. Fridges track what's inside and suggest recipes. Vacuums roam the floor on their own. Each device seems harmless, but together they form a system that watches, listens, and learns. By 2026, analysts expect more than 500 million households to be using smart home technology in some form. It's no longer luxury, it's convenience disguised as necessity. The Simpsons exaggerated it for laughs, but there's something almost prophetic about that episode. The more comfortable we get, the more control we quietly hand over. And in a world where our houses can think, the next question isn't how smart they'll get, but who's really in charge. Because while the future of our homes looks sleek and automated, the world outside them might not stay as peaceful. In a future set episode, Lisa becomes president and inherits a nation drowning in debt, most of it owed to China. It was meant as satire, but the tension it hinted at feels eerily familiar today. The show never showed war, just the uneasy sense that one wrong move could spark something bigger. And now, decades later, trade disputes, tech battles, and military posturing between the US and China make that story feel less like a joke and more like a headline waiting to happen. Some analysts quietly point to 2026 as a critical year, a moment when things could either cool down or escalate fast. The Simpsons didn't name a date, but their timing has a strange way of lining up with reality. Because when global powers can lose control this easily, maybe it's no surprise the next prediction is about humans giving up control completely. Long before anyone trusted a car to drive itself, The Simpsons showed what happens when humans hand over the wheel and immediately regret it. In one episode, Homer's car takes control and refuses to stop when he needs it to. It's funny in that classic Springfield way, but the humor fades when you realize how close we are to that future. Today, self-driving cars are already being tested on public roads. Companies are racing to perfect robo-taxis, while lawmakers are drafting regulations to make them legal by 2026. Tesla, Sony, and Honda all claim they're almost there. The goal sounds great. Fewer accidents, less human error, safer streets. But the risk is obvious. What happens when a machine makes the wrong decision and there's no one left to blame? The Simpsons turned that anxiety into a gag. In real life, it might become one of the biggest ethical questions of the decade. And as the world moves toward automation, the show's next prediction reminds us what happens when humanity loses control, not just of our machines, but of everything. In one of the darker Simpsons storylines, Springfield is left in ruins after a nuclear incident. Buildings are gone, the streets are empty, and Homer stands alone in a silent wasteland. It's grim, absurd, and unforgettable. The show used it as comedy, but the idea hits closer to home now. nuclear tension isn't just a relic of the past. It's simmering beneath modern politics, energy debates, and military strategy. Even small mistakes or accidents could have consequences far beyond what anyone can control. The Simpsons exaggerated it for laughs, but it captured something real: how fragile life can be when human error meets massive power. Let's hope that's one prediction that stays trapped in the cartoon world forever. Because while The Simpsons joked about our destruction, they also imagined our escape. And that takes us all the way to Mars. In one episode, Lisa volunteers for a one-way trip to Mars, a mission with no return. It's played for laughs when her family joins in to stop her, but the idea hits harder now. SpaceX is already planning real missions, with Elon Musk aiming to send humans to Mars as early as 2026. What sounded impossible when the episode aired is now an active goal. Rockets are being tested, and launch windows are already marked. The Simpsons treated it like a joke about curiosity and ambition, but it captured something real: humanity's growing urge to leave Earth behind and start fresh somewhere new. And while that dream looks far away, their next prediction might unfold much sooner, right here on the field. Back in 1997, The Simpsons aired a quick scene that most people ignored: a TV ad hyping up a soccer match between Mexico and Portugal, calling it the game that would decide which country is the greatest on Earth. It lasted just a few seconds, but years later, fans can't stop talking about it. Why? Because the 2026 FIFA World Cup is around the corner, and Mexico is one of the host nations. Suddenly, that random matchup doesn't look so random anymore. The show never mentioned a year, never said World Cup, but the timing lines up a little too well. If Mexico and Portugal somehow meet in the final, the internet will explode with Simpsons clips overnight. And after that, the show's warnings turn darker again, because their next joke was about the planet itself. In the Simpsons movie, Homer causes a chain reaction that destroys Springfield's environment. A single careless act, dumping waste into a lake, leads to the entire town being trapped under a giant glass dome. It's absurd, funny, and terrifying all at once. That story was fiction, but the message wasn't. Climate reports keep warning that if pollution and deforestation continue at the current pace, we could face irreversible damage within the next few years. By 2026, many of those deadlines for global climate goals will already have passed, and not in a good way. The Simpsons exaggerated it with a dome, but the symbolism is hard to miss. We might not be sealed off by glass, but we are slowly boxing ourselves in. And while the planet struggles to stay alive, The Simpsons also imagined a different kind of breakthrough, one that could help save it. In one episode, Lisa builds a car that runs entirely on sunlight. No fuel, no pollution, just clean power from the sky. She races it in the alternative energy derby, and it speeds ahead of everyone until a giant billboard blocks the sun and her car stalls inches from victory. It's a clever joke about bad luck, and a perfect metaphor for real life. Solar-powered cars have existed in theory for decades, but only now are they getting close to reality. A company called Aptera plans to release its first production model by 2026, capable of driving up to 400 miles on a single charge and gaining extra range just from sunlight. It's not mainstream yet, but it's coming. Slowly, the world is catching up to Lisa Simpson's invention. The Simpsons turned it into a race that ended in failure. Real life might finally give it a different ending, one powered by the same star that keeps everything alive. For over 30 years, The Simpsons has turned wild ideas into jokes, only for those jokes to start coming true. Brain chips, flying cars, virtual worlds. They all sounded impossible once. Now they're headlines. Maybe the writers just know human nature too well. Or maybe we've spent so long chasing convenience that we've become the cartoon. If 2026 really plays out like a Simpsons episode, let's hope it's one of the funny ones.